Welcome back to the Outlaw Ranch, y'all. Since everything's been kind of going bad these last few days, I thought we'd go ahead and start something new. We'll see how bad we mess that up. This truck, my 89 GMC 1-ton dually here, she had a thermostat stuck closed, which caused the engine temperatures to spike. I did get the thermostat to finally open up and everything cooled off eventually. But as you can kind of see here from the color that it seems to have spewed everywhere, this system, that's all that brown, nasty stuff, has probably never been maintained or worked on or anything. So today, spent some money, went and got some parts here, all from O'Reilly's. A couple of parts still have to be ordered, but we're going to flush this radiator first. Then we'll change the thermostat, the belt, the tensioner pulley, the idler pulley. One of those had to be ordered. I can't remember which one it was. And we got a new gasket for it. And we are going to see if we can't get this cooling system here maintained. It squeaks every once in a while on this pulley right here, right in here where my finger's at. I don't know if you can really see it, that pulley right there. So we ordered a new one, and we'll try and get this cooling system and everything kind of dialed in on this truck. It's, like I said, in 36 years, I'm betting it had never been addressed. So here we go. Stand by, folks. We'll start with the radiator flush. Okay, so here we are. We are adding a little resistance here to the engine, trying to get it good and warm. We're trying to make sure that thermostat is open, and we're flushing our cooling system right now. You can see that temperature is up there. It is 230-ish. We've been progressively adding a little bit more resistance to it. We drove it on the highway, and now we're out here at one of our local off-road areas. The road base is largely sand, and you can see it. Of course, we picked a pretty warm day, and we've got the heater blowing full so that we can flush out that heater box as well. We're going to pull over here in just a little bit and take a look at everything, but so far so good. Okay, we decided to stop in the shade, try to get a little bit of the some of the heat out of the cab here. The windows are down, as you can see. We got the heater blowing full blast. We're trying to flush that heater core also. This area was hit with some good flooding a couple of weeks ago. This is the kind of mud we end up with out in this area. It does get worse. The water has had plenty of time to recede, but as you can tell here, we're not boiling over or anything. So everything is still in good shape. The temperature did climb. Let's see, we are at, well, it's cooling off right now. We're at about 215-ish. So it is coming down. We still have to drive back. So we'll probably turn around at this point and make our way back to the shop, where we will drain the cooling system on this truck. And, well, hopefully we can replace some parts and that'll be it. But we'll find out here in a minute, folks. Stand by. Okay, here we are in the engine bay. I pulled the thermostat housing off here. There's just these two studs there. Unfortunately, you can see what happened here. I couldn't get a wrench on the bottom of that. It's very thin. The wrench needs to be more narrow, and I couldn't get a wrench on there. And so it stripped these two wires right out from, where is it? Right here. You can see those two wires there. Then this one here actually did have a connector on it. And the connector broke. So, another trip to O'Reilly's, and now we have our tensioner pulley here. Right there it is, one tensioner. And then we have some new crimp-on connectors so we can fix those 3 grounds, I'm guessing, or what broke. Then we had to get some butt connectors so we connect those old wires to the new wire that I just also bought, and here it is. So once again, we can't do one thing without breaking something else. And the good news is that I was able to find the parts I needed. The upper radiator hose here probably isn't in the best of shape, but it's going to have to work. And then we did drain the radiator by removing that lower radiator hose that you can see there. And the watercolor is, well, that's the color of it. It's this really rusty, almost oily colored water. And so I'm glad we flushed it. We do have to replace this tensioner pulley here. We did get the new idler pulley here. It doesn't look like it's going to be too hard to do. I'll keep y'all in the loop. Thanks for hanging with me. Stand by, folks. We got some more work to do. All right, y'all. You can see we have the 3 grounds back down there. In here, these 2 red butt connectors. That is where we made our splices. We now have the lower radiator hoses back on. We have our thermostat neck and upper radiator hose back on. So now that we've flushed this radiator, we're going to try and fill this thing up with coolant. Fingers crossed that it doesn't leak, but that has not been my luck here lately. So stand by, folks. Okay, now we have our new idler pulley here installed. You have to reuse the hardware, the bolt. There's a little washer right here. There's something that goes on the back side so it clearances here. Then we just put in our new tensioner, which is here. Again, pretty self-explanatory. Once this upper radiator fan shroud here is removed, everything is nice and easy. Now we're gonna try and string that new serpentine belt on here. And the good news is over here on the fan shroud is the routing, so it's not too bad. But stand by. Let's see if we can't get this fan belt kind of routed on here, and hopefully we can still figure that out. So stand by, folks. Okay, folks, you can see now that we have our new belt on. It is routed according to our little diagram that we have that was on the upper radiator shroud, fan shroud there. So that's all done. Next thing we have to do is we have to continue to finish filling this truck up with coolant. I only put 1 gallon in it, but it was the pre-mixed, and I have 2 gallons over here of distilled water. Remember, you need distilled water. You don't want minerals or anything building up in your radiator or anything. So back off to the auto supply house. Let's go pick up some few more gallons of that concentrated coolant, and we'll be back. It's always something. Seems like I've made 3 or 4 trips over there already today, so stand by, folks. All right, y'all. Here we are cruising down the road, about 55 or so. You can see our temperature. That is about as hot as it has gotten. So I'm thinking we've got this problem handled. Not sure, positive, but that's what I'm thinking for now. And everything should be fixed as far as the cooling here goes. So we'll touch base a little bit more once we get in the shop, and I'll catch y'all here in just a bit. All right, y'all. That right there is where the truck is at when it's running down the road. I just shut it off. It's still in the on position. That is where the temp has been at. So I'm going to call this project here done. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't the best. Like I said, we had a couple of wiring issues come up. But we're not overheating. We're not boiling over. We don't seem to have any issues. The belt is doing great. We got no more squeaking, and we have no leaks coming from our hose. Everything looks fine. So this project on this truck is done. The only thing I really have to do now is clean up my mess and put the skid plate back on. It's over there on the floor next to tubing. I'll spray it off before I put it back on, but this project's done. So just a lot of cleanup now, darn it. I did just hose the truck off underneath where there was coolant and stuff like that from when I drained it out, but there was no coolant leaks. So the only water you see dripping, you see it dripping here off the running boards and stuff like that, because I just hosed it off. You still see where it's wet and everything. But this project's done. So on to the next project. I don't know what it's going to be. We're still got to flip that axle, so we'll probably continue with that. Until next time, we'll catch y'all later.